everyone that's tuned in. Those of you who are out there, you're listening on Streamer, you're listening on hot7025fm.com, Facebook, on YouTube. Go ahead and click that share button and tell your friends about us, because we are about to get into this interview with this tycoon, okay?
I appreciate that.
With this tycoon. I think that people have to call a thing, you know what I mean? So we have to make sure we introduce those properly. So I have the tycoon, the family man, the king. Listen, I think you have wisdom like embedded in your DNA. Like seriously, I think that sometimes you're just born with it. And I think that you have that. So I appreciate all of that. The owner of Dame Dash Studios, and my special guest today on hot7025fm.com, Mr. Damon Dash. How you feeling?
I'm good. How you doing?
You know what? I am pretty good. I have, I'm here at the office and chilling here by myself right now, and it's just such a good vibe. And I wanted to talk to you because we have met a couple times in passing. I have met Boogie and hung out with Boogie several times, and I wanted to touch on some things with that as well.
How'd that go?
I'm gonna tell you actually, and it's some great things.
Good.
So I definitely want to talk to you about that. So one thing that I want to do. So there's 3 things that I want to accomplish, successfully during this conversation today. And here, a couple of things would be to ensure that when you leave this interview, that you remember who I am. Because I think that that's the most valuable part of me having this connection with you, is for you to leave here and say, oh, remember Icarus from Vegas? Let's touch base with her. And I think that's the most important part for me. I've listened to several interviews that you have done. And although I'm here for, questions and, you providing your answer and your responses, but I think the value for me is going to be saying like, yeah, Dame knows me. And I think that that's something that's valuable to me today. So that's one thing I want to accomplish today. The second thing is that I want the audience to kind of get to know like who Dame Dash really is and what your why is. And then I want to talk about why 100% ownership in all aspects are essential, and how that is important and how that relates to Dame Dash Studios. So my name is Icarus. They call me Fine Ass Icarus because, the obvious, right?
That's obvious, yeah.
So I own a couple of different companies. I own Icarus Entertainment. I also own a company where I do live producing. I produce live events like comedy shows, live music shows, live poetry shows, things like that. I own a business called Your Logo Here, where we create the apparel. You have a logo, we put it on for you to create branding for your own businesses.
Nice.
I own hot7025fm.com, and all those companies I own solely. And it is important for me to kind of connect with you about that because it's crazy not even knowing your whole story and then understanding that I literally think the same things that you think. I always tell people, I have a certificate by our front door that says I could turn on the FM switch whenever I want to. We have over 1.9 million documented listeners, and we've only been open 2+ years. So our listenership has grown, and I own the content. And then so it's important for all the shows that are part of this brand to also own their content. So if they leave, they can say, hey, I have this content, and it's mine, and I could sell it to you, or I could use it on my own platform or whatever. So those things have been imperative in my business to let people understand that owning your content is valuable. And then 2, me not flipping that switch on allowed me the opportunity to say, you can't tell me what we could play. You can't tell me if I can support independent artists or not on my radio station. You can't tell me if I could talk about how Black power is powerful. You can't tell me what candidates I want to, talk about or not. So I think that you mentioning that and owning your content has been valuable to a lot of people. And every time I hear you say it, I'm like, yes, thank you for saying that. So people can understand how important it is for you to get 100% of your dollars. And I think that, it's valuable all around. So I could create my own, apparel and branding and sell it for, 100% of what I'm going to make it for. Because I make it. I have the press machines. I have, the garment, so on and so forth. So I think that part is so, so valuable. And I wanted to make sure that we talked about, how influential that was. I remember you, doing that interview with Breakfast Club. And I remember you saying, but your son can't DJ here. And I thought to myself, exactly. Like my sister has a show on the station, which is about politics, and she speaks about it however she chooses to. And, she's a graduate from Southern University, so she's already hella black and hella proud. And I could do that because she's my sister, and I know that her content is valuable, so I can put her on because it's it's our platform. And I think a lot of people, they slip that over their heads, and they want to sell, part of their content. And they, we have people that own a whole television show, and they only own 20% of the television show, and now they can't even do their own show because they said something on their own podcast. So, I want to tell you, thank you for delivering that message because it's so valuable. And I think a lot of us have to make sure that we understand what that means. And, I wanted to touch on you so you understand what that meant to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, listen, I had the pleasure of, like I said, meeting you a couple of times. And then also, too, I met Boogie probably about 4 years ago, and I interviewed him, and he was so sweet and so bubbly and so smiley and just like an affectionate being. Like I just really, every single time that I have hung out with him, he's always been this bubbly person, right? I personally have never seen him, be angry, go be, weird, crazy, whatever anyone may have said. I personally have experienced him being just like this soft, loving being. And I hear people say, Dame is, aggressive, and Dame is this, and Dame is that. And I'm thinking, like, there's literally no way possible for Dame to raise this guy that I know to be this person he is, and for him to be an aggressive person. So I want to know, like, I already know you have a soft side. I have listened to the passion and the compassion that you have and messages that you deliver. And I just want to know, like, how do you feel about that when people say those things? And how do we understand that narrative is really not valid and that they're not paying attention?
Well, I really don't care what people say, so I don't hear it. And I know what I've done. I raised Boogie since I was 8 years old as a single dad. And I think people should more talk about the fact that I took responsibility as a man during all the things that were going on and made the time to be a dad, and that's what they don't talk about, how different it is for a man to have his child living with him and a man having to raise his son without the mother involved and all the things that come with that. So, the difference between me and most is everything and every part of my life is somewhat publicized, whether it's right or wrong or whether people get the story or not. It's all part of the game. It's the life I chose. So I don't really care what people think. If I did, I would probably have a way less happy existence, being in the public eye. It wouldn't make sense for me to be in the public eye if I care what people think.
Right. So do you think that being a father has can basically contributed to the passion and the compassion that you have? Well, I know I see you with.
Go ahead.
I see you with your baby, and like just seeing you hold him, I can tell you're just like so in love with them. So I want to know what that feels like and how that feels for you.
Well, every other relationship and child I've had, I wasn't quite with the other half. So I was always a visiting dad. And a lot of times, that was used to hurt me, not letting me see my children as a weapon. So getting it right after 4 kids and finally being able to wake up with my child, because I'm that affectionate with all my children. I just wasn't allowed to be around them consistently or as much as I wanted to. And also, it's different when the mother's mad at you, and y'all both can't celebrate the growth and all the things that come with having a child. I mean, having a baby is like a lotto ticket. And Raquel and I went through a lot to make this baby. We lost the baby, IVF, the whole nine. So we fought for this, and I'm marinating it, and I'm appreciating every moment. And I'm now knowing that had I not got to experience this, my existence on this life would have been incomplete. And all the things that I do would be for nothing. Now, my goal as a dad and as a parent is to make sure my children never have to feel any of the pain or any of the same struggles that I did. So, yeah, I fought viciously outside so that I didn't have to fight and I can be affectionate inside. Like, nobody wants to be tough all day. I'm only fighting when I have something to fight for. A boxer gets in the ring and he's vicious for those 10 rounds. He's trying to knock that person's head off, knock them out. Football, savage. You're trying to really hurt somebody, but in the game, it's part of the game. After it's over, you don't come home and play football with your wife or box your wife or your kids. You leave that shit in the ring. So I know what I'm fighting for, and that's why I fight so ferociously and viciously, so that my children don't have to go through what I went through. And if they do, then I have not done my job. I'm not preparing my kids for my same struggles. I'm preparing my kids for struggles that I haven't had, like how to spend $1 billion and keep $1 billion and evolve $1 billion, how to be happy, like something might be broken on the compound, that kind of thing. What jet should we fly? Oh, the jet's broken. I want those kind of problems, and not the self-inflicted, depressed in a dark room problems for no reason because you're insecure, because you're not getting the proper affection from your parents. And also, I can lead by example. I'm very proud to break a cycle because, I came from a dysfunctional marriage and a relationship, and I know how it affected me, and I wasn't able to not do that to my first 4 children. And I've always felt bad about that. So I haven't really done my job until now. And, I had to learn from experience. What I learned was get with a woman that you want to be with every day. Don't just, and understand it's not about putting money and giving money to the kid. It's about being there every second. And at this point, when the child is just born, this is the most receptive and the illest developmental stage. It's when the kid is the smartest and when it absorbs everything. He has to learn the language, he has to learn how to walk, talk, eat, everything. So those fundamentals will carry on for the rest of their life. It's very important to get that right now. Raquel is writing a syllabus with the OSG network, which is 100 black principles from the womb to the 3rd grade. And we're actually implementing all those things with baby Dusko now. And it's working. So, I've been able to not have to go outside for his first 3 months. And I suggest any dad, just take off if you could. And just spend that time with your baby. At least that time. And more than likely you'll want to spend more time. But I've been lucky enough to do that. And, while my girl is working, doing what she does and what inspires her creatively, I could watch the baby with the proper help as well. So I'm having a great time. This is like the happiest time in my life.
Nice. I think that those things are valuable. I tell people, I'm fortunate enough to have a family that, was loving and, they were inspiring. They gave me, I always knew I was great. I knew from when I was small that I was special. So, I never thought anything differently. And I think when you have people around you that can instill that in you, like you literally grow up and become this great person because it's instilled in you. And
also
when you have those connections.
Someone that loves you raises you for things that help you and that don't help, that not for what helps them. Like if the world and life has to teach you, it's just going to teach you how to survive. The patterns that have to be implemented into your brain should be implemented from day one. So that's another reason why my son has started his own company, Baby Dusko. Got his own Instagram. He'll never know life without having a company. It'll be his normal. So implementing what the normal is has to start then as well. So, the normal is God is not other than us, a different culture. It's your culture. Death is not the worst thing in the world because it happens to everybody, so let's not be scared of it. And we're not going to live with any fear, and we're going to live for love. And that's what we subscribe to. And I need to teach him that. This is while I'm doing the interviews. See my little baby?
Hey.
I'm live.
Oh, cool. I'm on Zoom.
So what's happening? You're not going to say hi?
I did say hi.
Oh, okay. Real quick. What's happening? I stopped the interview. What's going on?
Can you get me at 2:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right. Yep. Got you. Love you. Later. Wow. So, yeah. That's my job. My daughters and my kids call. I'm on deck. She's just like, yo, come get me at 2:30. I'm like, I'll be there. Everything stops. Now, if I wasn't the boss, I'd have to be like, well, I can't come at 2:30. I got a job. Now, I could do whatever I want to do. It's mine. Now, I could bring you to mine, or I could go to yours whenever I feel like it. And that's the importance and the pricelessness of being independent.
Absolutely. I think that a lot of people need to understand that. I spent some time working in corporate America. I was a high position. I was making a whole lot of money, and one day I was like, if they're paying me this much, how much are they making off of me? And I said, you know what? It's time for me to leave. And I started my own business and marketing consulting firm. And a lot of my clients were radio station owners. So I build them plans to be strategic, financially successful. And I got 100% of the dollars. And I could schedule when I want to. I could go, where I wanted to. I could do what I want to. And in this position that I'm in today, I have a team that are essentially entrepreneurs, and I've heard you say before, I don't have employees, and I've said that before. Whenever someone partners with me, we set them up as though they have their own, they have their own business, they have their own entity, and we just subcontract and do business together. And I think that understanding the ownership of what you can and can't do, and I think that that's something that you've told a lot of people, and I think that you're making that known, and also too, I saw something where you were talking about your space, your office, and you hadn't been there for a couple of months and all of that.
Oh yeah.
And I am not a fan of desk. Like, I don't have desk here. We have open space. We have, it's just set up like you could come here, you could play games if you want. You could, go if you need. There's some, computers here if you need to. It's just a chill vibe. I've never been a fan of desks because I feel like I don't need to be trapped anywhere. Like, if I feel like that also traps your brain. Well, so again, how do you feel about that in your space?
Well, rules are made to control you, and you should be in an environment that inspires you no matter what. It would make no sense to do it any other way. If you want to control somebody's spirit, it makes sense to make a certain order despite who you are and make you fit into, a circle or a square when you're a circle. So I always have created, again, my normal is I'm comfortable, and if it's my option, I'm going to make sure that I do it what makes the most sense. If I feel like eating dessert before dinner, I'm going to do it. I just do whatever I feel like it, as long as it's productive and you want to keep your people inspired. There is no rules for that. It's a vibe. But the rules are, it better be a productive vibe if I'm paying. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
that's really what it is. You got to keep the lights on. A lot of what I'm on my brain right now is because, you have a creative side, and while you're being creative, you don't want to really have your other side of your brain messing with you because you're emotional, and you don't want to make business decisions while you're emotional. But at some point, you have to activate and get into your other side of your brain and get to business, because you have to monetize things to protect your creative side. And that's why it's good to make sure that what you're doing is your dream, so it doesn't feel like work, and you do it so much that you become a professional at it. And a professional is when you make money at it and it's paying your bills. If it's not doing that, then you're not a professional. you're still an amateur. You understand what I'm saying? And, that's what people have to understand. It's like just because you got a business don't mean you're doing professional business. If you make a profit, if you're buying cars, like you have to have enough to sustain and pay bills. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. There's founders and there's different kind of bosses. There's the kind of boss that knows how to collect checks from another company for a living. They're dependent on their service to other people. And then there's the kind of boss, or also, actually scratch that. It's the kind of boss that'll collect checks from a big company because the big company does the work and they're leveraging their celebrity. And, that's a kind of boss. But then there's the kind of boss that invests their money, knows how to lose money for a little while, get sustainable, and then make a profit. And that's a founder of a company. And that's a different kind of boss. And that's the game I like to play. I like to get something started. I like to get a block clicking. I'd like to see and go through everything I know I'm going to go through. It's going to get dark before the light. It's the darkest before the dawn. And I love the thrill of actually converting and getting something jump-started like that. I don't see it happen very often. And I don't see people that love that game like that. But this is what I love. I challenge myself a lot because I always like to do what inspires me. And a lot of things inspire me. But I'm also inspired to be the best at it and make the most money doing it. But I also like, and I'm inspired lately by doing things that evolve the people I'm selling them to, like my network, like my streaming service. I'm inspired by doing things first. Doing things first to me is an art. So the art of being a founder and doing things first and being cool while you do it and continuing to do it, to, do things. And again, I could get with somebody that has their own, a fund, be told what to do. I could have stayed in the music business and made $1 billion. But my soul or dreaming about living in an apartment or dream about something that keeps you so motivated. Because you don't have it, you're inspired to keep fighting. So when I dream about shit that, most people think they'll never be able to get. But everything I've dreamed about, because I've been able to visualize it, I've been able to get it. And I know that's a superpower. Because I'm also teaching my son now to visualize and to dream. And that magic will happen if you focus your energy. If you can think about something for more than a minute and a half, it becomes a manifestation. And I've practiced this. I've taught this. Some people don't believe in it. Some people do. But if I can't visualize my dream, how will you? You know what I mean? If I don't believe I can make the dream happen, then how can any customer believe? I don't believe my work is good. How am I going to sell you some bum work? How am I going to expect you to buy it?
Right.
So to me, like life is like an art, and I'm playing. I'm having a ball.
Right. Well, good, because I think that I took a look at Dame Dash Studios, and I really thought to myself, like, there's so much value in owning the content, and there's so much value in being able to see content that represents you. And I think that that's the part that's always been important to me. Like, I wanted to create content for people who look like me or people who support, people who look like me. And it's like going on to Dame Dash Studios, like I saw people who look like me. And I know that there's someone who looks like me who owns this platform. And I just, what do you think about being able to deliver that content and not having to share, anything with, what we call the man, right? Share anything with, someone else.
It's priceless. And I want to be clear about this 100% or owning ownership. It's about making residual income so that you can sit by the pool when you don't feel like being physical or going outside and you're still making money. So you have to make something that people will continue to buy over and over again, but you don't have to physically continue to make. So if you capture something with a beginning, middle, and end, People will watch it for decades. Kids will become adults and their kids will watch it. And every time you will get paid. So ownership is important so it can keep paying you. But if someone pays you a fee, you only get paid while you do it and when you do it, which means you're going to be working hard your whole life. Unless you're getting such a big fee that you don't have to work so much, so more. But that doesn't happen so often. So it's about long-term bread, residual income, and also the freedom and the independence to do exactly what you want, when you want, and how you want.
Exactly. And let's talk about Dame Dash Studios real quick when it comes to, since we're talking about that anyway. I know that you have been developing content, since you got in this game, and I think that a lot of people don't understand that you essentially have been creating your own social media platform, your own YouTube content, the whole time that you have been doing this. And I've read about how you did this so that you could make sure that no one could say you did something wrong, and they knew exactly what it was. And I know you have some of that content on Dame Dash Studio because I'm interested to watch it. But what's the most valuable thing that you recorded that we could talk about today?
I mean, the programming is very diverse. Hey, can you pick this up and follow me?
Yep.
The programming is very diverse. So there's scripted, like Honor Up, which is in theaters. There's docu-series, like we went to. And, that's me going around the world with my crew, finding like-minded people, smoking with them and being creative. China, Thailand, Jamaica, stuff like that. There's Health is Wealth, which is my girls' cooking show, and yoga and things like that. There's the OSG network, is what I was telling you was 90 principles, getting up, speaking about curriculum, helping others before themselves, and also when the Board of Education ain't paying, they still doing it, and helping a new curriculum, one that kind of behooves us. There's politics with the commission, and that's, Congressman Andre Carson, Senator Eddie Milton. There's Dr. Chris Pennell, who's on CNN daily, black doctor running the hospital. Again, the OSG, the 90 principles. We deal with unrecognized trauma with the therapy with Taj and Melanie. We got Do It All, who's running for city council. So we don't just talk about stuff. We don't just pull triggers. We actually do things to help. And this is what the content is showing you on there. Then we got the history of religion, which I think is the root of racism, with Bishop Pennell. Because we have to wonder why we call, the interpretation of Jesus really is Joshua. Why do we have a European translation of the name and nothing in the Bible happened in Europe? And regardless of whether the word is right or not, if you're not a smart black man and the day you're born or woman, someone's putting a white man with blonde hair in your face and telling them he's God, and you're saying his name by an interpretation that's not original, you might think you're number 2 rather than number 1. So we deal with that as well.
Right.
And then, we got OG stories, which is people that I respect, that I personally know, talking about defining experiences that people glorify. But, you get to really talk to these people, and they can tell you the recourse of what happened to them and what they learned from. And I could go on and on and on. Live music. I even did a rock album and called the Black Guns. The album's called Therapy. You can get it on Spotify, but I got a rockumentary that tells you the making of it and all the things I was talking about when I made it. It all happened a year later. So it's all type of stuff. There's the movie out there.
I know you recorded some things with Kanye over at the Ranch. Anything? I mean, is that gonna go live or?
I can't talk about nothing Kanye.
Okay.
Again, when I'm doing work with another man, I got to go by his boundaries and all those type of things. So I'm not allowed to really talk on it, and I respect it. So everything him is super duper always top secret, is whenever he feels like it. So I'm just waiting.
Nice.
But we did do some fly shit though.
We'll pay attention to that, because I'm excited. I love Kanye. I always have, and I think that he's a genius. And I think that you surround yourself, as such. And I know that you provided a lot of, essentially, wisdom and guidance, with Kanye in his career to, help him. So I think that that's commendable. I think a lot of I tell people I make this platform to help other people become successful, and I know that you do that, and I know that you just, it's something that happens that you just do it naturally. It's not like you or me or we're saying, hey, we need to do this so that somebody else I can put them on, but it's just genuinely about, hey, I want to provide this information because I want everybody to be great, and I appreciate you doing that and just naturally having that ability to make other people great.
Thank you. I believe that's what we all should do. Always feel good to love and to give love. And just because other people don't give it, don't mean I'm gonna stop. So I think that's also the test to see if the love is real. So no matter what, I got the same thing to offer, and everybody knows here's my offer.
Hi.
Why you kind of hiding?
How's it going?
Why you hiding? It's Nicolette. Nicolette has a project. Everyone that works with has a project. There's Harry. She got a little project.
Hi.
Yeah. So, we're working on Rocky's documentary in there right now. Or actually, out the vote now, right? She's working on there. So we work, this is in the house right here. But then in a little while, this is Camilla. She's editing, and she got a degree, a master's. Oh, look, my shit just went. Oh, yeah, she got a doctorate in documentary. So, I'm looking forward to showing all the evolution. I got bum Wi-Fi right now. So I'm looking forward to showing all the evolution. That's the senator. Can you answer that for me? Someone.
Okay, I think we got you back. Hello.
Yeah, sorry about that. My Wi-Fi got bummed for a second, I guess. So we working. We working no matter what. And again, everything we making and all the content we making is meant to evolve you and to learn from our experiences and all those kind of things. The innovation in this streaming service, which is not only the content and not the fact that it's independent, also you can buy things from the streaming service. So while you're experiencing it, you don't have to leave the experience. While you're inspired, if you see something I'm wearing and you like it, and I got it, oh look, something went wrong. Entering broadcast studio. This ain't showing information on.
Wait, what?
I'm saying it's not showing information.
Of reality is the source of change. So let's get Dane back in here. Hey. All right, we got you back.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was, that's basically what I was saying.
Yeah. So that's what I really love too, because that was genius. Because there's been plenty of times that I'm watching something and I'm like, oh, look at that. I want to get that shirt or something, or even that's a placement, like that's a product placement. Mm-hmm. And now I have to remember later to go back and check it. But I like how now you can just get the content from Dame Dash Studios when you're watching something. So that's genius.
But you can also buy the clothes. You can buy books. We got a new magazine. You can get all those things. There's Nicolette.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what the innovation is, and I've always wondered why. That was always my dream. I never understood why like a Disney didn't have an app. And why now that they have an app, while you're there watching, you should be able to buy the toys and everything else and the ancillary things. But I'm sure everybody will follow suit. But just remember, I did it first.
Right.
I create industry. I create opportunity. If people don't have the ideas, I give them away because it makes it better for the industry. So, I've been doing and thinking streaming services before Netflix, when Netflix was in supermarkets. When there was still blockbusters. I was like, man, it's the internet. So I already knew where the future was going. So it made no sense to invest in an old business model. And now that the end of the world has really happened and there's going to be a new world, we might as well make sure we implement our new business models that behoove us. And it's made it where we know that if you have a business model that won't last in the pandemic, then you have the wrong business model now. You have to adjust everything. And it's a good time because the old business model wasn't working for everybody so well. So people should embrace the change and start to think and dream and figure it out. So for me,
I agree.
This model works really well for me because you can do everything from your phone or your house, wherever you at. And people don't want to go outside and be around people so much so more. So you could just go shopping. So this is the new retail as well. I heard the baby's here. Let me see it. You know what I'm saying? See, it's great when you go work at home and I can just hear my baby like, oh, I need my baby. You know what I'm saying? And
I get so adorable. Little Desco.
There he goes. There he goes.
Oh.
There's little Desco.
Look at those cheeks. Look at those cheeks.
That's them breast milk cheeks. Yeah. But you see, he got his line. He got his onesie. DD.
Yes.
His Desco. Baby Desco.
Oh, and the socks too, right?
You see the socks?
Yeah. Nice.
Ready.
Nice. See, they're just CEO entrepreneur, just like that.
I mean, you're not gonna know anything different.
Right. Set them up for success. You know, I think that's the best way to go. My nephew, he owns a podcast studio here in our facility. You know, people rent out the podcast studio for them to come. He created it. He said he wanted to do a podcast. He wanted to have a podcast studio. He's 7 years old, and you know, that's his thing. So we talk about, you know, how he wants to decorate it when he records his podcast, how people book, and he's 7. You know, so I think that. I just so appreciate you just pushing this model and people being able to hear you say it, because the value of owning things and businesses and the value of letting people, your less than 1 year old, being a boss, you know, and I think that's valuable. So I want to make sure that I can connect with you later. I definitely want to come and check out Dame Dash Studios whenever. I'm interested in hanging out and seeing, you know, just kind of being in your presence and kind of seeing what that looks like to have that type of platform. So if you're open to that, I'm definitely would make that happen.
Come on through.
All right. Anything else that we could talk about before we go about Dame Dash Studios? You can go on. You can get it at $7.99 for the membership, $79.99 for the year. There's a lot of great content on there. I know you can get it on, you know, Apple.
I'm waiting for them to reactivate the Apple, but right now, but it will be available on Apple. But right now, you go to DameDashStudios.com and you can get it off of what's the other one? The Galaxy phone.
The
Android. You get off of Android. You get off that right now, and probably today, tomorrow, as soon as possible. I'm just waiting for Apple. They'll have that up there too, but it will be available every single place, and every place that Netflix is available.
Right, and I really encourage everybody that's listening live right now. First of all, I want to thank you guys for listening, but everyone that's listening live, go to dame-studios.com and understand like how valuable it is. And when you go to the platform, you can see it's easy to sign up. It looks familiar. The navigation is easy. So definitely go and check that out. And Dane, I want to thank you so much for just hanging out and just taking the time to hang out with me today. It was valuable to me. And, I want to make sure that, you do remember me when you leave this. And you remember Hot 7025. And you're welcome to come to our studio whenever you'd like.
I'll definitely remember you. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, y'all take care. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk to you next time. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Peace. Hey, Nicolette.
Hey, thank you so much, Dane, for hanging out. I really appreciate you. I know you're a busy man.
Oh, no, it's all good. I appreciate you giving me the platform.
Hey.
It's all good. It's my
much love.
Okay, but he's going back to his curriculum, to his little school. He's learning Spanish.
Good.
A little Spanish meat.
Yeah. I know you have some cannabis stuff coming up. I remember I think I met you one time with Larry.
Yeah.
G5 Larry. Yeah, a while ago.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm doing the weed business is too rough, but
Yeah.
I'm about to smoke a joint, and
That's right.
and we I license it. You'll be able to buy the King Dusko weed, but it's more like having that genetic and just licensing it out so other people can grow it. That business is rough. You know what I mean? But
I've heard a lot of people say that with all the taxing, the dollar,
the taxing,
the cash,
the sale, all that shit. The regulations, you got to be clean. Microbials, it's too much in the way they set it up, and it's oversaturated. It's not like selling drugs used to be,
Right.
It's not.
So are you
you're
on the West Coast now, right? You're in Cali.
Yeah, I'm in LA.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect.
That's what my studio is.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely link with you, and I for sure would like to just sit down and chat with you.
Yeah, let's link.
Okay, we'll make it happen. I'll reach out to is it Nicole or to
Nicolette?
To Nicole, Nicolette. Okay.
Yeah. She tell her to show you her project. It's spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she likes girls.
Me too. So we're good.
Nicolette, come here 1 second. It should be right up your alley then. You have time? Can she show you her project real quick?
Yeah, I got time.
And she likes girls.
Okay. Let's go. Link up.